Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and today we will see important topic like how we can integrate our data provider with with the Excel sheet, because we have already done the integration with framework, but we haven't integrated with Excel sheet. Okay, so first, before covering that, I have few more things to cover. Okay, so we'll do that. First thing, there is a clarification that's been raised by a subscriber for the previous session. Again, we are using I method interceptor, and we have integrated with Excel. So we are reading the Excel, and then we are trying to disable certain test cases at the runtime. So, but what is query? There is a guy Kumar. I would like to thank him for asking the query, because it might help someone else who is having the same kind of query. Again, guys, if we also have any kind of queries, please leave it in the comment section. At least I'll try to reply you. Otherwise, try to cover it in the video. Good. So now, if you notice, when we depend on Excel for test control, what if we need to run the test on Jenkins slave? It does not have any MS Office installed. It's absolutely true. It can happen. See, the thing what I have taught in the previous session, is loosely coupled with your Excel sheet. It doesn't matter whether you are using Excel sheet, YAML file, or JSON file, or Notepad, or CSV. It doesn't matter. The only thing that I want to show you guys is we can do all these things. Okay, it's up to you guys to change and cater according to your needs. Okay, um, yeah, I know some clients demand, not to use licensed software. That's what you can change the Excel data into one JSON file. Okay, in that case, okay, there is no problem with your JSON file, or if you also want to use comma separated values, you can go ahead and do that. So if you notice, even if I go to my Eclipse workspace, this is the method interceptor that we have created. If you notice, I'm at the end, I'm just getting a list of map, which is having all the details about my test cases that I need to run, right? It doesn't matter whether you use a JSON. Suppose in your case, you can use JSON utils dot get test details. Okay, you do whatever the logic you want, but give me the end whatever the details I need to change. Okay, suppose if you even don't want to do all these things, okay, I want to just disable certain test case. I don't want to set the priority. I don't want to set the test description. I don't want to do any of these. Just the test, control of running only a certain test. Then you can even send a comma separated values of all your tests that you want to run, or you can just group them with the name of smoke, and you can also group them with the name of regression. Okay, even you have the options, okay, to control all these things. Okay, suppose somebody is telling me I need to just run only. Okay, you can get the method. Okay, you can also set groups. Okay, if you notice, we can also get the groups here. So this will give me the groups this particular test method belongs to. Suppose this method is belong to smoke and regression. I want to run only the smoke. Then you can add it. Okay, you can do the condition. So what I'm trying to say is I have given you a template how you need to approach a problem. Okay, it's up to you to solve those issues. Again, if you are facing any issues, please do leave it in the comment section, or try to reach me via LinkedIn. I'd be happy to help you. But I have given you enough to start with. Please try and cater according to your needs. Okay, that's all I want to say. Good. Now we are share this. Next we will also see, we will create a Excel sheet with all the test data for our data provider to read. Okay, we'll also understand how the mapping works. Okay, how, and then we'll also see the integration with the data provider and Excel. So this is what going to be the agenda for today's session. Now let's go back here. Okay, let me save this, close this. We have nothing to do with this here. Now let me walk through whatever we have. So we have two tests. One name is login logout test, and the other one is new test, and both of them are using data provider. Again, guys, it is not mandatory to use an external source to feed the data. Again, here my case, I'm using and giving a demo with Excel. You can use any other configuration files, external files you want. Even if you don't want to use any external files, you are getting the data from DB, you can do that. So at the end, you need to just return an object array for your test method to work with it, as with the data provider. So this is what going to be the agenda. If you're comfortable having data provider in each of your test class, or for each of your test method, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, suppose we are okay to hard code the values like this, it's absolutely fine. But not all projects work this way. They need test data from Excel or external sources. So in that case, I'm just giving you a template again to operate with. You can cater based on your needs. Okay, good. So the problem is, for I what I'm trying to achieve is, some people will maintain a data provider for each of their test method, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to have, even if I have 1,000 test methods, okay, I'm going to have only one data provider. Because if I have a one-to-one mapping for my data provider and test cases, it'll be too, I have to write a lot of code. When I can handle them with just one data provider, I will like to use that approach. Okay, the logic that I'm going to handle, I will do it in the data provider. That's what we are going to see. Okay, in my case, what I'm going to do for all the test methods that you are going to create, I'm going to have only one data provider. That's the ultimate rule. Okay, now we will understand what we have done. Okay, this is the run manager sheet that we used. Okay, if you choose, this is the login logout test and the new test that we have. Okay, and this is the execute. If you choose yes, it will run. If you choose no, it will not run. Again, you know about the priority and counter the stuff. For the same way, I need to have a mapping between my run manager and the test data sheet. Again, I have used the same Excel sheet with a different, for maintaining a test data. You can use two different Excel sheets as well for maintaining test data, for maintaining run manager. It's up to you. Again, here in my case, I'm just using only one Excel sheet. Okay, now for the login, so I have copied this. Okay, I have kept the same thing here. My ultimate goal is I want to run that login logout test with three different set of test data. Okay, three different set of test data. Again, you can put it in order. Again, you can put it in different order. That doesn't matter. Again, I used to keep in a same order. Then somebody, my lead will come and tell, okay, I don't want in this order. Okay, he or she wants to check my code writing capability, so he will give a requirement like this. So that's why I have given it like this. But it's always a good practice to maintain everything in one order so that it will be easy to manage. Okay, again, these are all the test data that I want to feed to my test case. Again, you can add as many as test data you want. If you want to have 100 test data, that's absolutely fine. You can still go and add it. But for example, I have added only 3. And if you also notice, there is a column called execute, which is almost going to work like the same way that it worked. Okay, so you get a control here whether you want to run this particular test case or not. Okay, and then you get another control if you are having 3 set of test data for a particular test case, and you are sure that this particular test data going not was having some issue in the dev environment. So if you are sure that it not going to run, then it's okay to switch it off, right? So I'm giving the control for you to even choose yes or no here. If you choose yes, this particular iteration of test data will be feeded to this particular test case. Otherwise, it not be feeded. So it's as simple as that. Even your manual testers or product owners can have the control. Again, if your new test does not require a first name, then leave it as empty. So it will not use it. But when you leave it as empty, when reading from Excel, it may throw you null pointer exception because the cell will be empty. So what you have to do, just one requirement, just add a single quote and then press on enter. Okay, now this will be treated as a empty string. Okay, so that you don't face any issues. Again, this will not cause much harm, guys. So this is an easiest way to do this. Again, you can write some logic to check whether the cell is null, then you handle it differently. Whether the cell is new number, you call it gets numeric cell value method. That's all separate. Okay, but for now I'm gonna store everything in a form of string. Okay, so even if you want to maintain some numbers, add a single quotes and then choose 1 2 3 4, so it will be treated as a string. Okay, so this is the easiest way that you can get a value from Excel, and then based upon your needs, you can convert them back to integer or whatever the format you want. Okay, good. Now I have saved the Excel sheet. Now there is a mapping. Your test case name, whatever the test case that you want to run, all the test data will be fetched from here. So there needs to be at least one particular thing. Okay, otherwise your test will not be run. So always make sure you at least have only one entry here. Okay, now the end goal is, now there are 3 iterations for the login logout test, but only 2 has mentioned yes, and one among them is invalid, so this will be failed. Okay, so I am expecting 2 test cases to run, and even in new test there are 2 iterations, but one will be run, one will not be run. So this is the ultimate thing that we are going to achieve. Okay, now we are happy with the mapping. We are also have created the test cases. Okay, it's as simple as that, guys. Again, you can suppose if you're editing something here, okay, and then you are removing it. Okay, then when you are getting the last row number, your Apache API will return this also. So always make sure you select some columns and then delete it. Okay, so if you're even making some issues, then it will throw null pointer exception. So please remove like this, because we are human, we are tend to make these mistakes. Okay, so just remove these columns so that it is free from null pointer exception. Good. Now I will save the file again. If you notice, the sheet name I have mentioned is data. You can use whatever you feel, but I prefer using data. Good. And at the end, what we are, we have read all these things and stored in a list of hash map, right? If you, the same way we are going to do it here. What we're going to do, we're going to store all these things. Okay, first, this is one of the map. Okay, with the key as this row and the value as this row. The same way I'm going to fetch this. Okay, key as this and value as this, key as this and value as this. If you put it in a diagrammatic representation, it has to look like this. So first hash map that you are going to get, okay, will have the key as this and the value as this. Second hash map will have key as this and the value as this. And I'm going to store everything in an object array, and then I will return this from the data provider to the test method. Okay, so everything will work fine. So ultimate goal is we want to construct the hash map with all the data value, and then we want to store it in object array. Okay, in the first index, I want to store the hash map one. Okay, this hash map one has having details about my first test case. This is as simple as that. This diagram representation, you can take a screenshot, so it will be helpful for you as well. Now we understood the Excel mapping, guys. Again, guys, if you feel the video a little slow, please change the playback settings to 1.5 or 2. Okay, thank you. Now we go here. Okay, now I cannot have the data provider here. This is not a good thing, right? So because it's going to be common for all the tests. Okay, so I removed it from here. Good. And at the end, where I want to create, so I'll create it in utils. Okay, let's create a class and let me name it as data provider. You're just going to provide the data, right? So data provider utils. Okay, let me name it as this. Again, guys, I don't want someone to extend this. Okay, final. And I also, again, guys, I'll deal about the data provider, the constructor later. But for now, I'm just creating a method public. I can create a static one. It's not okay. uh, Name of the method is get data, and it's going to return you object array. Again, guys, if you haven't watched my data provider video, please watch that, because then only you can understand why this guy is returning object array instead of two-dimensional object array. Okay, for now I'm adding a return statement as null. That's okay. Now the first case, what I want to do, I want to read all this value in a form of list of map. Okay, I want to do this. Okay, if you also notice, we have done that already for this I method interceptor. So if I go to the Excel utils, we are returning list of map already. Okay, if you give the sheet name, it will get you all the details in the Excel sheet in the form of this particular uh, thing. But this will not be in, this will be in a list array. Again, list and list and array are almost similar, right? So the internal working is different, but still they are almost same. So I can easily get in the form of list of array, and then I can convert into sorry, I can get it in a list and then convert to array. That's what I'm going to do now. So I'm gonna reuse whatever the code that we have written for uh, fetching the value from run manager sheet. I'm going to do that. But when I have to do that, I need to, because this is using run manager, because we are hard coding the value here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to parameterize this string. Someone is passing me a sheet name. Okay, I'm going to use that. So I don't need this variable anymore. Okay, just save it. Good. Now in the listen I method interceptor, I need to change this because we have optimized. Okay, run manager, I need to pass the sheet where it want to fetch the value. Now this will work absolutely fine. Okay, just one change we have to do. The same thing we are going to do here. Okay, Excel utils dot get test details. This time I'm going to pass the sheet name as data, because all our data is now stored in this particular Excel sheet. I want all this data in a form of hash map. Okay, stored in a list. Okay, forget about this object array as unknown. It will be written in the form of list, then we can convert it back to object array. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so we're going to get a list of hash map. Okay, so this hash map will go into your string comma string format. Good, everything is clear now. Okay, okay, I'm too lazy to type this whole thing, so I'm just telling string list. Okay, so it will ask me to convert to list of mapper. That's fine. Now everything looks good. Now I have all the data. Okay, from the data sheet in the form of list. So what I need to do, I need to only filter out, okay, only filter out the test cases. Suppose the test one, sorry, the login logout test is asking me give the test data that I want to run, then you need to return only this row and this row. You should not return these two things. But the list what I have is having all the details about this, okay. Even if you have 100 rows, it will have 100 details about it. So I just want to return them only 1, 2 and 3. I should ignore these two rows completely, okay. So I need to do some operation from my side to find that. But how I can find which test case is calling this data provider? Okay, again, this is a data provider, so I just need to annotate it properly. So to get the details, there is, you can use a reflection concept, okay. Just use method and then hover your mouse, import it, okay. Java lang reflect. Okay, this can help me to find the test case name. Suppose I'll create a local variable, uh, test name, okay, equal to m dot get name. Okay, so this will give me that whatever the test method that is calling this. Okay, this is good. Now what I want to do, I'm just iterating this whole list. Okay, list dot. Okay, this is a list, right? So int I equal 0, I less than, okay, list dot size. Good. I plus plus. I'm iterating the list now. So in the list, I want to fetch the value of, so this list is having this. So I'm iterating through this particular list, okay, having hash map. So I want to get the hash map and then I want to get the value of this particular test name. So if this particular test name, whatever the in this key and value pair is matching with my test name, okay, then I need to, you know, use that, I need to filter that out. So what I can do, I can create a one more okay, maybe I'll create this, okay. So maybe iteration list, okay, this is what I'm going to feed it back, okay. This will only have the details about uh, the login logout test and nothing else, okay. New array list, okay. And guys, from Java 8 you don't have to mention the generics, so it's okay to remove it. Now what I'm going to do at the runtime, so this is a bigger list, right? This is having the whole details. Now I'm going to remove this whatever having new test. I don't want, I just want to pick 1 2 and another test which is having login logout. So I'm going to actually create something like this. I'm going to create another array list which is going to hold only the ones that are matching login logout, okay. Whatever the one that is matching this this particular thing, I'm going to only add the whole match map. If it is matching, then I'll add this hash map here. Okay. Let's name it as map one. Okay. This is matching. Okay. I will add it here. Map two. Then this is not matching. So I will not add it. Okay. Now this array list is having only 2 entries. So I will return this in the form of array to my test method. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Let's see. Now I will iterate this. Okay. I want to check whether the test name is matching with the whatever the test name I have here. Okay. Now if, okay, list of get index, I'm just getting the first hash map. This will return me a hash map. In the hash map, I want to get the, okay, test name. Okay. This is the header that I used. Okay. For all the things, the header is this. So the key going to be this for all the hash maps. So if I want to get this value, I need to use this particular key. Okay, test name. If this is matching, okay, this is matching with whatever the test name that I have now. This is reflection, right? This is, if these two things are matching, okay, then I'm going inside this. I am also adding one more condition. Again, it has to match as well as it also needs to have this execute. This execute should be yes. If it is no, there is no, we should not return this back to the test method, right? So one, there needs to be additional condition whether the execute column is yes. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. So if list dot get of I, okay guys, sorry, list dot get I will give me the hash map. Again, I want to get the execute value of the execute key dot. I'm comparing it with yes. If these two both the condition matches, then I will add that hash map. I will add that hash map. So iteration list. I'm adding this, adding the whole map. How will I get the map? List dot get index. Now I got the map. So what will happen? So now I am constructing a small iteration list from this bigger list. Okay, maybe you can name it a small list so that you can understand it better. You can name it as later. Okay, it's all our convenience, right? Small list. Now we have created a small list that will have only the details about your test method, whichever it is calling. Suppose the test method that is calling now is login logout test. The small test will only have the details about the small list, that too after filtering only the yes thing. Okay, execute as yes. Now instead of that, I am going to return small list dot. Again, I need to convert into a form of object array, right? So just type to array. That's it. It'll do. Again, if you notice, it can automatically tell. So if you notice, to array is giving me object array. That's what I want to do, right? So good. Now my data provider is happy because data provider return type is good. Now I need to tell in my, you know, test method that the, data provider is this guy. Who is the data provider? Data get data. Again, if you want to give your custom name, you can give that, but I am giving get data. Even for this, okay, I'm giving get data. Again, there is an important thing. If your data provider is present in the same class, then you don't it can automatically understand. Or if it is present in the super class, if then it can easily if it is present in base test, it can understand. But if it is present in some other class, you need to tell where the data provider class is located. So you also need to pass one more thing like data provider class equal to, so the class where my data provider is located is data provider utils. So data provider utils dot class. So I need to pass this parameter as well. So let me copy this. Okay, and paste it here. So for both the test methods, my data provider remains the same, but I have written a logic inside data provider to understand what is the test that I need to, you know, uh, based on the test that is calling, it will return the object array according to this. We have written only some 8 to 9 lines of code which will do all the magic for us. Now, one more thing, if you notice, I'm returning everything in a form of hash map, right? So I don't even, so this is an object array. This is one dimensional. So my parameter to the test method is just one. So I'm just giving map of string, comma, string. Okay. That's what my map is all about, right? So I'll copy this, paste it, paste it here. Okay, there is no more a need to send all these things. Okay, if you are having 100 parameters, I cannot pass 100 parameters. That's why we store everything in a form of map. Again, guys, please watch my data provider video that gives you all the knowledge. Okay, please do watch that if you don't understand what I'm speaking here. So if you want to get the username, I can just get data.get username. Same way, if I want to get the password, data.get password. Okay, by this way, my test method looks much clean than before. Okay, I can copy this whole thing and then paste it here. Okay, good. That's all. We have done all the things that we need to do. Let's check whether it will work fine or not. Is there anything else? Okay, looks fine. One final check, guys. Sheet name will be passed. Okay, okay, everything, the logic is already, we have written all this logic. It will return a list. Everything looks fine for me. Okay, let me save the Excel one last time and then close it. And if you notice, both the test cases needs to run, but the first test case will run 2 times because only 2 iterations given as, one is given no, and one among them is failed because the username is wrong. And new test is having 2 values, only one will run because one is no. Let's check. Not sure what will happen. Okay, let's try to run this. Run as test ng suite. I hope it should work. Let's see. Again, guys, if you like my channel, please do share it with your friends, about the channel. You can also send me a feedback if you want to improve something. Suppose if you are looking for something to learn, let me know. If I know about it, I can make a video about it, and then I can share it in the YouTube. Okay, so if you are interested to know, I am planning to create APM series. But yeah, if you have anything else, please let me know. Okay, again, first test is passed. Okay, second, substitute. Again, we can add a parallel equal to true attribute in the data provider if you want to run all the iterations in parallel. Okay. Second one, I think it got failed. Okay, now the test one is complete. Now it should pick the, yeah, the login logout test is complete. Now the new test is running, it seems. Okay, it should run only one time because we have given one as yes and one as no in the iteration level, so we have got a lot of control. Okay, so now the tests are ran and the reports are ready. If you notice, the login logout test got ran two times. Okay, first time it used this admin123 admin123 and it got failed. The screenshot is here. We have got the reports. Again, the another data where we passed the correct values, it also ran. And this to check whether the test is executed, this guy ran one time. Okay, even though we are doing same test case. Okay, I'm not worried about the implementation, I'm worried about the framework. Okay, the framework is ready to add more tests. That's what I want at the end. Okay, now everything is working fine, but there is a problem. Again, if you guys have noticed what is the problem, I think you guys are really sharp. Okay, one problem is I method interceptor is calling this get you get test details method only once. Okay, because this will be called only once, guys. But my data provider, okay, will be called each time. Okay, my test method calls this. Suppose if there are 100 test method calling my data provider, we are calling this excel utils dot get test details 100 times. Each time it goes make a connection to your excel sheet, get the data, and comes here. Okay, so every time you are interacting with a test excel sheet, right? That's something that can be optimized. If you don't want to optimize, it's okay, but I prefer doing the optimization. When we know something we can optimize, we should not leave it like that. So what we can do, so I just want to call this excel get test details only once. I will get all the values, store within me, and then based on that I will do the operation. Okay, that's what we are going to do. If you want to leave it like here, that's absolutely fine. There is no, that's not, uh, you cannot save a hour of time. Okay, maybe a few seconds or minutes, 1 minute maybe in the whole regression suite, but not more than that. But still, that's not a good approach. When we know what we have to automate, we can automate, right? So automate it better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create it as a, you know here as a global variable, class level variables. Okay, uh, and new hash map, sorry, new list. Okay, this is good. So this will be initialized only once. So now what condition I'm going to write. Okay, let's remove it. If the list is empty. Okay, I think we are using list dot. I think there is some problem, it seems. Just a minute, guys. Okay, guys, I think I'm not using it as a static. That's the reason it's throwing errors. Okay, because I'm using a static method, so I can only operate on static elements, right? So list dot, there is a method called list empty. Okay, this is empty method will check if it is no. So first your constructor will come and will make it as a empty. Okay, so now there is a list which is not having any elements, so this will return me true. So the first time it will go inside. Okay, list equal to, and it will call excel utils dot get. Okay, everything looks fine. So guys, data. So the first time it will go, it will fetch all the values, it will store here. The next time it will not be empty, so this will not be called. So that's the first approach that we are going to do. Okay, let's try to run and then check whether everything is working fine. and guys, it will work absolutely fine. So anyways, we'll take a small baby steps every time. We don't want to do something and then suddenly it's not working. We don't know what to fix. Now we just made only one change so that we know if something is not working, we can fix it immediately. So I always do this approach. I also insist you to do the same way. Okay, think good. Everything is working fine, guys. Now, even now, there is a little optimization that we can do. Again, again, if you don't want to do, that's absolutely fine. But if you notice, we have a map that's having the whole list. Suppose consider, again, my tests are still running, guys. Okay, my tests are still running, but I don't want to waste the time. So maybe I'll stop it here. Okay, I don't want to run it because everything is working fine. So what the thing is, okay, I have an array list, okay, which is having, suppose say you 100 values. Okay, so the test one is having three iteration. Okay, so what I can do, that for the test two, again this 100 values will be iterated to find the test two iterations. Okay, suppose only there are two. So what if I can optimize this? Suppose after executing login logout test, I want to remove this three values because that will not be applicable to other test cases, right? I can remove those hash map. Okay, so what I'm saying, so this login test is now two having two values. So once I execute this login test, I can remove this hash values from the here because that will not be applicable for other tests, right? So what I can do, I can, okay, I can remove it. Okay, so yeah, how I can remove, I have a smaller list, I have a bigger list. Now I want to remove certain values from this bigger list. So what I can do, list dot, there is a method called remove all. Okay, I can just pass this small list. Okay, now this hash map will be each time that your test is getting executed, okay, this will be reduced. Okay, I don't know whether I am explaining it, clearly, but I'll try to, open an Excel sheet and then I'll try to explain it again. So what I'm trying to do is, suppose consider you have 100 rows here. Okay, so after first iteration, okay, my login logout test got executed. So what I can do, I can actually remove this entries from the list so that the list will have lesser entries now. So the lesser number of iterations to find the new test. So by this way, at the time that you are executing your last test, you will have only three or two iteration, whatever that is applicable for that particular test. So you are reducing the number of iterations you are doing on the hash map. Again, it will not save you a lot of time, but when we know we are doing something wrong, it's always good to fix it. Unless we don't know all these things, we will keep doing same mistake. Again, we are not making any production ready code, but still we have to do all these things, right? So we are learning something new every day. Let's save this. Now this will do the same thing for me. I'm removing all the elements in the small list. Okay, so after executing the first test case, login logout test, whatever the values related to that will be removed from this particular list. That's it, guys. So I think we have done enough justice to do the integration. We will see some more interesting topic in the coming videos. If you have any comments, please do leave it in the comment section, guys. Thanks again for visiting my channel. You all have a very good day.